So let's talk about Google's Agent Development Kit, or ADK. It's built on this really fascinating idea. What if the future of AI isn't about building one single, giant, all-knowing brain? What if instead it's about creating a whole team of highly specialized AI agents all working together? That's the big idea behind ADK. And it's a huge shift in how we think about building intelligent systems.
But first, let's start with a question that I think we've all had at some point. Why is it that these incredibly powerful, super smart AIs can sometimes feel so, well, fragile? You give them one task too many, or maybe a problem that's just a little too complex, and they just fall apart. Turns out, there's a really good reason for that.
And this slide just nails the problem. On one side, you have what you could call the overworked genius. That's your single AI trying to juggle everything at once. It gets overloaded, it gets confused, and at the end of the day, it's just brittle. But on the other side, you've got the ADK approach, the specialist team. Here, each AI agent has exactly one job, and because of that, the whole system becomes way more reliable, focused, and you can actually scale it. It's really the difference between one person trying to do everything and a high-performing, coordinated team.
Okay, so how does Google actually build this AI dream team? That's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to peel back the layers of the ADK one by one. We'll start with the agents themselves, then look at the engine that makes them all play nicely together, and finally see how it all comes together in the real world. All right, let's dive in. To really get how this AI team works, we've got to meet the players first. So who are these agents, and what exactly are their roles on the field? So what even is an agent in this ADK world? Well, it's way more than just a chatbot. The official term is a self-contained execution unit, but I think a better way to picture it is as a little autonomous worker with a very, very specific mission. It can handle tasks, it can talk to you, and it can use tools, all by itself, just to get its one job done right. And inside ADK, you basically get two main types of agents to build your team with. First up, you've got your LLM agents. Think of these as the creative thinkers, the strategists. They're powered by models like Gemini, and they're fantastic for things like dynamic planning and free-flowing conversations. Then you have workflow agents. These are your process managers, the ones who make sure tasks happen in a strict, predictable, step-by-step order. And this right here, this is the secret sauce for enterprise reliability. These workflow agents act as deterministic guardrails. In plain English, that means they control the process with predictable, solid code, not with a creative LLM that might, go off script. For those critical business jobs where you absolutely cannot afford a mistake, this is a total game changer. It guarantees things happen exactly the way they're supposed to every single time.
Okay, so we've met the players. We've got our thinkers and our doers, but any great team is useless without a coach and a solid game plan, right? That brings us to the orchestration engine. This is the heart of ADK that makes sure all these different agents are working together in perfect sync.
And at the core of that engine is this really elegant four-step process they call the reliability loop. It works like this. An agent does a bit of work, and then it yields. It basically hits pause and hands the baton over to the main orchestrator, which is called the runner. The runner then takes all the new information and safely commits it, locking it in. And only after everything is securely saved does it wake the agent back up to get on with its task. So why does this little loop matter so much? Because it guarantees what's called state consistency. It makes it basically impossible for an agent to act on old, outdated information. This simple, careful cycle stops all those weird bugs that pop up when multiple things try to happen at once. It gives developers serious peace of mind and helps build systems you can actually rely on.
ADK is also incredibly smart about memory, about what it remembers and for how long. It uses these simple little prefixes to define everything. If there's no prefix, the data is just for the current chat, and then it's gone. Add a user prefix, and that info sticks with that specific person across all their sessions. And an app prefix, that's for global settings that apply to absolutely everyone. This is so crucial for building powerful apps that can handle lots of different users securely.
So we've seen how reliable this system is, but what about building it? How hard is it? Well, this brings us to this really fascinating concept that ADK introduces, something they call coding at vibe speed. It's all about making development faster and more intuitive. And the whole goal here is to create a frictionless workflow. It's about taking that initial spark of an idea, that vibe, and turning it directly into clean, working code without getting bogged down in all the boring, repetitive stuff. It's all about keeping that creative momentum going.
And the magic that makes this happen is the Gemini Command Line Interface. But listen, this is not your average coding assistant. It's been totally supercharged. It's been trained with this incredibly deep, native understanding of the entire ADK framework, all its best practices, all its little quirks, the whole shebang.
So how did they make the Gemini CLI so smart about ADK? This is brilliant. They created a super optimized guide to the entire framework, a file called LML's full.tx. Then, they strategically cut its size by more than half. Now, since an LLM's short-term memory, its context window, is limited, this smaller file means Gemini can see the entire picture of ADK in every single request. The result? Way more accurate code, and it's actually cheaper to run.
So what does this actually look like for a developer? It's literally a conversation. They can just say, hey, build me an agent that can talk to GitHub, and they point it to that special context file. And just like that, Gemini gets to work. It doesn't just spit out some random code. It generates functional, clean Python that perfectly follows all the ADK best practices. A job that could have easily taken hours of painstaking work is now done in minutes. But it doesn't even stop there. The best part is that it's an ongoing dialogue. The developer can stay in that creative flow and just conversationally ask for changes. Okay, now add this new feature. And Gemini will just refactor the code it just wrote. It becomes this true back-and-forth collaborative partner.
Now, prototyping at vibe speed is amazing, but that's only half the story. The real test is taking these agents and deploying them into a live, high-stakes business environment. And this is where ADK really starts to pull away from the pack, because it was designed from day one to be enterprise-ready. This really shows how ADK is built to plug right into Google's tough, secure cloud infrastructure. It hooks up seamlessly with Vertex AI for all the heavy lifting like scaling and monitoring. It has advanced RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation, so you can ground your agents in your own private company data. And it connects to all the systems you're already using through tools like APG and more than 100 other connectors.
So we've seen all the pieces. We have specialized agents, a super reliable engine, crazy fast development, and deep enterprise integration. Let's pull it all together and talk about what gives the agent development kit its unique strategic edge in what's becoming a very crowded field. When you boil it all down, it comes to this powerful combination of three things. First, you have deterministic control from those workflow agents, giving you a level of reliability that other frameworks just can't touch. Second, you've got that unmatched developer speed, thanks to the vibe coding experience. And third, it's that deep, native integration into the entire Google Cloud Enterprise ecosystem. And this highlights a really smart part of Google's strategy. They're not trying to lock you into their world. ADK is interoperable, so if your team is already building with an open source framework like LangChain, you don't have to throw all that work away. You can actually connect those existing agents to ADK and get all the security, scaling, and monitoring benefits of Google's enterprise-grade backbone. Which brings us to our final thought here. The Agent Development Kit, it's not just a new tool, it's really a different philosophy. It suggests that the best path to powerful, reliable AI isn't about building one single, massive superbrain. Instead, maybe the future lies in orchestrating millions of tiny, collaborating specialists, each one a master of its own small world. And that is a future that's definitely worth thinking about.